you ain't on the payroll, can't be hanging with the same bros. We don't even go to the same shows, so please be quiet. I'm being polite. Get it crazy, you ain't on the payroll, can't be hanging with the same bros.
Hello guys and girls and welcome back. It's Big John here. The at's at the bottom of the screen if you'd like to listen to my music. So is all the relevant information I'll be speaking about in this video. And today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching you how to draw session windows on your MT4 application. That's right. I'm going to be showing you how to see where the most volatility is in the market. You'll be able to see the Asian session, the London session, and the New York session. I hope you're going to like this video, guys and girls. Let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm on my chart now. I'm on the 30-minute chart on GBP USD. It's best to do this type of setup with one of the majors or something like that. Just keep it nice and simple. And then it should be on all of your charts after, but we'll go into that. You can see I've got my session vertical lines here. So it gives me like a window between here and here, and here and here, and here and here. So the red one, from red to red, the vertical line, this is my Asian session. From blue to blue, this is my London session. And from yellow to yellow, this is my New York session. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to create this for the future of your chart. You have to wait until the market closes first. So now we can see our next day would be in between this void here. So between this period separator here and this period separator, this is going to be showing us where our next market day will be. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make sure I get my time frames right. I'm going to tap my screen, press the square, the circle, and the triangle button, which is the object. I'm going to go to plus, I'm going to go to vertical line, and I'm just going to put one right here. We'll get rid of this ray first. You see this? This will be off, the ray button. But for the sake of the video and what we need to do, let's just switch that on for the first time here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to switch this to all pairs. So it'll be all symbols. We're going to make sure time frames is set to all as well. And this color is going to be red. You can leave the pixels on 4. And then we go to done. Now we want to make sure that this is 1 hour after the period separator has been formed here. Yep. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on it and I'm going to switch off the ray. So I don't want the time to be there because it would just be messy. And I'm just going to press the triangle, the circle, and the square again. I'm going to create my next one, vertical line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the chart. And I'm just going to click on the ray button because I need to know how many hours ahead it is for me. This one has to be 7 hours ahead of the previous one. So we're just going to go to 8 for me, right there. And then I'm just going to click on this and then switch off ray. Then we're going to go and create another one right now. So we're just going to go to vertical line and then we just put that on the chart. But this one, we're going to switch on the ray again and we're going to turn this to blue. So now this is the start of our London one. And this one has to be 2 hours in front of the previous one. So we just want to click on it. And if that one was at 8 for me, then this has to be at 10. So this is 10 right here. Then I'm just going to click on it and then switch off ray and then go to done. And then the next one, again, we're going to add another one and we're going to make this blue again. It's already blue. We're just going to switch on ray again so we can see where it is. And this one has to be 4 hours in front of the previous one. So that would be 10 o'clock. So it's already there for me, right? Nice and perfect. So I'm just going to switch off ray like that. Now I'm going to click here again and I'm going to make a yellow vertical line. So we just put this here. We're going to switch on ray. We're going to turn this to yellow. Yeah, done. And then I'm going to move this one right over here to 1 hour after that one right there. So that should be 1500 for me right there. Yep. And then we'll just click on that and then we'll switch off ray again. Yep. And then we're going to create another one, which will be right here. So just create a vertical line right there. We'll place it. We'll make sure we switch on ray so we can see where it is. And this one's going to be 3 hours after that. So it should be 1600 hours for me. Yeah. All of these times that I'm telling you to add it to, 1 hour and 7 hours after, I'm going to put that in the description of the YouTube so you will know and be able to see what I'm doing. So this will be 1600 hours. So you just have to repeat this process just like that. Now, it is a bit daunting having to do this, but because they don't have a session indicator on your phone, I'm just showing people how they can do an MT4, and you're going to see how great it is to capture volatility in the market. So we go here, we go to Ray, we switch this off. So now I've got all of my vertical session lines set up. I'm just going to make sure all the settings are correct for them. So I'm just going to click on this one, go into here. This is correct. So the Ray's off, all symbols. I can see there's time frames all, yep. And then I'm just going to go into the second one here and then see it. Yep, this is correct for me. I'm going to go on to the next blue one here. Let's go into there, and then yep, this one's correct. And then I'm going to go into this blue one here, hopefully. And then I want to change this, you see, to all symbols to make sure it shows up on every single pair I'm looking at on every time frame. I want to make sure. So I go to that, and I'm going to go to this yellow one right here and do the same thing. As you can see, go to all symbols. You can see everything there is correct. Go to done. Then I'm going to go on to the last yellow one right here. Make sure I go to all symbols as well. And that's it. So now this is all set up for me. For me to use this, what I'll do is I'll go to a 15-minute time frame. So when I go to a 15-minute time frame now, you're going to see what we have in front of us. So let's go into this day here. Let's even go into previous days. So let's go into 2 days prior. Yep. And we can see right here, this was the Asian session here. Not too much volatility in the market. But then what happens when we come here in GU on the 15-minute chart? We can see straight away that London session, we had a sell coming in between here. And the New York session, we had a continuation. Now, this isn't the best pair to show the most volatility in, but it was a continuation of a sell going down, even though it was a bit consolidated. So let's go over to another pair just to show you that this actually is happening and this is working. Yeah. So now we're on Euro USD. You have to be a bit careful with these lines as well. They can be a bit fidgety, so they move around. But once you get used to it, you know where they'll be placed. You just switch back on the Ray. So you can see what happened here when we came into New York session. So even in London, you can see that the Asian session had finished going in here. There was the crossover. So they always do a handover. The crossover was here where they were waiting to see what they were going to do. As soon as London opened, price managed to sell. You even had a TDI bearish crossover right here to indicate that sell. There was a level of support here, just how I've shown you in my previous video, where you can use the Fibonacci and then you can draw your levels of support and resistance. There'll be a link to that video right here in the top right. You can use that type of strategy to help you with this. Clearly consolidation and a level of support forming here. And then when we came into the New York session, what we're waiting for? We're waiting for a crossover. We've seen a crossover right here. You'd have been able to get in and take this trade. Remember, I'm not telling you just to trade it when this box opens and you see a crossover. You still got to draw your support and resistance. That's why I told you to look at my previous video that I made last week. So now you'd have been able to take that trade nice clear. You can see straight away where the volatility in the market is. Let's go over to another pair. USD CAD. Look at this today. Look at that amazing candle there. This is more like a trade that you could say might be a very good surefire trade. We go into Asian session here, consolidation. Look at what it was doing. This is even something I teach in my mentorship. Look at this. Asian session, consolidation. London session, consolidation. So it created enough momentum in this market to do a huge breakout. You had what they like to call a pin bar right here. And then straight away, the next candle. This was news though. This isn't natural behavior. This was news. But it consolidated all day. You had a shark fin TDI there. Look at that. Look at that. And then straight away, boom, all the way down. New York session between here and here. I did make a joke about this strategy today in my Discord. And I said, everybody's going to be making bank after I show them this strategy. So if you'd like to get into my mentorship, which is my VIP in my Discord, hit me up in my Discord. The link will be in the description below. You know, I'm going to be able to help you out with that. And you're going to be able to get further. Like I've always said, very competitive rates. I'm telling you, get this source. Don't sit on this source. Don't lose money before you get this source. Because I'm showing you money, man. Look at this money. Look at the money. So we'll go to something else. So let's go to gold. Let's go to gold. So where is gold at? Yep, we go to gold. In my previous video before, these are the levels of support and resistance I was talking about right here. Yep. So you can see right here from London session here. So if you did draw your level of support here, you can see there was a level of support around here. You've come into London session. What have you seen here? There was a sell here but you would have had some type of supports and resistance here to help you out with this. It did break through this one, this level of support here. It did break back through it. So when you was watching this in London session, you would have drawn another line here. You would have seen it tapped it once, tapped it a few times with a bit of consolidation. You had a TDI coming out of the volatility Bollinger Band here. I wouldn't call this a shark fin though. Even though it did come out, I wouldn't call this a shark fin. So you might have to be a bit skeptical of that trade. But there again, you could have seen you took that crossover bullish. What happened? You would have caught this trade. Even going up into here, into New York session, you would have been able to catch this one. 50, you can see you had a crossover right there. Yeah, just as I teach in my TDI video. If you'd like to see that video as well, just go on my YouTube and you'll see that video there. I'll try and put a link in the description for it as well. You had a bullish TDI crossover here. Boom, you would have caught that buy in gold right there. Yeah, let's go back because I know people love gold. You can see right here. I do not lie, man. I do not lie. Look here. Look at the money. Look at the money, people. Look, you see? New York session right here. You would have seen a crossover there. TDI was going into the bullish zone there. It wasn't exactly there. If you drew your level of support there, you can see there was a level of support around this area here. There was one I drew here already. Look, straight away. Boom, you would have been able to get that. Let's go over to an exotic. Yep. Here. So, yep, you can see an exotic pair here. Could have got this buy right here, seen there's a level of support. Look, the market touched this level once, came up. New York, you would have had the level of support drawn here before it came into New York session. You would have said, okay, if the market doesn't break this level, then I can possibly look for a long. It would have nicely on this level right here. It would have just reacted to this level, not broke it. Shark fin TDI cross, bullish sentiment line on the TDI. Boom, you would have been able to get in. I'm checking all of my TDIs on a 15-minute chart to gain entry for these. That's why this video is a scalping video. See, I would have been able to hold that and look, right, all the way there. I would have been able to come out on the TDI cross over there. This is an exotic. Let's go over to an indice right now. Let's go over to US 30. Whoa, look at this, people. Look at this. Right here again. Asian sessions here. You can see there was a level of support formed here. So you would have drawn that level of support. Came back up in London session. And then came back down in New York session. You'd have said, hey, I'm ready for some action. Shark fin TDI. Boom. Look at that. Money. Pips on top of pips. Pips. Pips on top of pips on top of pips. Telling you. I don't know what to say. So I've shown you on currency pairs. I've shown you on metals. I've shown you on indices. I've shown you on exotics. This works. So I think that about sums it up. And, you know, like I said, I'm always trying to give out the source and stuff like that. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. It's your boy Big John here. If you want to get into any of the mentorship VIP group, like I've said before, the link is in the description below for the Discord. Hit me up in the DM and we'll sort something out. And once again, it's your boy Big John and I'm out. Let's get this money, man. Let's get this money. Yes, let's get this money.